can't get any words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. If you guys watch the video, you'll notice literally the last 3 weeks. I've noticed it myself, so no doubt you guys have. I don't know why. I'm just super paranoid that the Roadcaster doesn't record now that it's tucked away down there. So I might move that to a more visual spot for myself. But how are we all? Tuesday morning for you guys, Monday for me. It is now about 12:30, so a lot later than usual for me. Holy shit, I just had a stroke live on air. A lot later for me than usual. Sorry about that. I've had an absolute cunt of a morning, to put it politely. It's the Eka public holiday here in Logan. That's where I live, Logan, which is situated nicely between Brisbane and the Gold Coast of Queensland, Australia. For all our far away listeners, just gonna have a little sip. But yeah, as I've mentioned on the show before, I've had a pretty decent sized job chipping away at the moment, and I come in here the other week saying I was stressing out about something possibly going wrong, but everything was A-OK, so nothing to stress about. And in the last week or so, a couple of things have gone wrong. Again, they're fixable. So at the end of the day, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but still not the greatest thing to be dealing with. And I locked in to go and finish those last few bits and pieces off today on the Monday. Then as soon as I send the email, Nikita goes, "Monday's the public holiday, fuckhead." And I'm like, looks like I'm working my public holiday. So luckily it was just a little half day. But just one thing after another up there just turned into a complete shit show. And I've got to go back again. Yes, you got to love it, don't you? So am I going back to fix some other stuff that some other people said they were going to fix? Yes, I am. Am I too nice of a guy to say, fuck you guys, I'm not doing it either, and if you want me to do it, I'm going to charge you a variation? Yeah, I am. So I get to drive all the way up to the city again, probably tomorrow or Wednesday, and do something that's not my responsibility. But hey, who cares? You do these nice little things in life for people in the hopes that one day, I'm going to go and do this little bits and pieces for him, right? And as I get in my car and I turn the key, holy fuck, put a pin in that. I almost forgot about that. As I turn the key, he just yells out and goes, "Oh, is there anything that maybe you produce other than cabinets that I could have a listen to or come and watch one day?" And I can go, "Buddy, I actually release a weekly podcast. Comes out every Tuesday. You should jump on and have a listen. Don't listen to this week's one. Might be a little bit too close to home, but all the other ones, feel free. Give them a listen, mate. Come watch me do some stand-up every now and then." But I finished the job, right? And the client had to leave, and I'm like, okay. And I don't know about you guys, but I prefer it when the clients aren't home, right? And it's not so you can get away with any sneaky shit or anything like that. It's just I hate people watching me work and giving their opinions and shit like that. You know what I mean? I had to do a Bunnings trip this morning, especially for one of these odd jobs that I got roped into, right? And the owner was there reading the instructions, and anyone that's in the fucking trade, 9 times out of 10, you do not even look at the instructions, right? You just pop this thing out of the box and you go, how the fuck would I make this fit? And you do it, and it works fine, right? But this bloke, he popped out the instructions, and in this particular case, it was I had to cut a vent into some cabinetry. And in the corners, to get your jigsaw blade started right, you normally just drill, to be honest, whatever fucking size drill bit you can find first in your toolbox. But for me personally, it's always a 10 mil drill bit, right? And you just punch that through, and that's big enough for your jigsaw blade to get into. Old mate's got the instructions, and he goes, "Oh, it says here you need a 12 mil bit." And I've gone, "Yeah, but I'll get away with a 10 mil." And he's like, "Oh, well, I don't think they'd put it on the instructions unless you needed a 12 mil. And I'm like, nah, yep, you're right. You're right there. There's something really irritating about someone that pays someone that pays your bills, you've got to be polite to and just be like, yeah, 100%, mate. You're all over it. I'm going to fucking have to start paying you to come to jobs with me just to give me this advice. So I'd drive to Bunnings and spend an extra $15 on a 12 mil drill bit that I didn't even fucking use at the end of the day because I got away with what I needed to. So did part of me want to open the 12 mil and use it just so that I now don't have a brand new 12 mil drill bit in my toolbox? A little bit. But I am hoping that I can take it back to Bunnings and return it. Seeing as that back in the day, Ash said he just used to go to Bunnings with a bucket of fucking screws and just be like, I want to return these. And some poor cunt had to sort them all out. But I don't think I got to this part right. This was what I was about to talk about when I said I turned my key right. I've said it before. I'll say it 100 times. My work ute, she's a bit of a shitbox, right? But does it do the job? Does it get me from A to B and carry heavy fucking kitchens and shit for me 99.9% of the time? Yes, it fucking does. Would it be nicer to have one of these like flash new dual cabs that you see all these other tradies cruising around in? Sure. Do I want to go into a gigantic fucking debt? No. Okay. Well, the old 2010 Ranger she'll be apples until I sell my Netflix special or fucking we get a couple extra downloads on this bad boy. But yeah, like I said, owner left. Fuck, I'm blanking out whether I did talk about this. So if I'm doubling up on this story, it's because this is what happens when I cabinet make before podcasting. But I've jumped back in the ute, turned the key, driven outside. Like this place is a mansion up in Ascot, right? Brisbane listeners will know where Ascot is. It's one of the ritzier suburbs you can fucking live in. And this house it's all about it. All the bells and whistles, right? So the owner goes, this is my key lock box. This is my gate code for the automatic gates, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, sweet, all over it. Get in my car, drive outside the gates, and then I go start the lock-up procedure. And so I've driven my car down the long driveway and parked it out the front. And I've hit the gate code. Gates have started to shut. And I'm like, perfect, home time. Time to come and entertain the listeners. And as I've got back in my car, I've turned the key to fucking nothing. And I'm like, how is that possible? I legit just had my car running from there to there less than 2 minutes ago. Try it again. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And just every light on the dash is just like flickering and going off like I'm at a fucking rave or something. And yeah, I jump out, pop the bonnet, give the terminals a little tap. Still no fucking good. I'm like, you can't. Like, surely it can't be a flat battery. I just drove the cunt. Didn't leave any lights on, didn't leave radio on, didn't leave nothing on, right? So I called Nikita. I'm like, I got a flat battery. You might have to drive up to Ascot and fucking we'll sort it out later. I'll get a tow truck or something. And literally while I was on the phone to her, I've turned the key again and she started. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But now my engine light's on. So, oh, it's been a good morning. It's been a bloody good morning. How's this for a bit of workplace banter as well? Where are we up to? Again, this is an unscheduled fucking ramble session. So sorry for the wasting your first 10 minutes, but got to get it off my chest, you know. Oh, sweet water. I needed a drink today too. Check the freezer, no fucking ice cubes. So, and I didn't have the balls to be drinking whiskey. What is it when you drink it with no ice? Is it neat? Whiskey neat? I think that's it. Anywho. Before the Bunnings trip, right, out on site again, picture this. When I'm on site with a client, I am the most over-the-top, nice, let's just say it, fake cunt in the fucking world. I want to hear all your stories. I want to hear everything you could possibly fucking tell me. Let's be best buds. I wish I could move in with you guys just to hear all these amazing stories day after day. Anyway, today's client, there's a particular generation, right, and I just scraped the back end of it where we used to use Refidexes and maps and shit to find our way around, right? We didn't have Google Maps and Apple Maps and all that sort of shit. So this bloke is of the generation that describes where you've got to go. So I go, oh, there's a Bunnings around here, isn't there? Like I've worked in the area a million times. I know there's one somewhere, but I don't know where to get to it, but I'll punch it in maps and it'll take me straight there. So then he starts the procedure of, yeah, you follow this road down here, you turn left there, turn right at the Macca's, then there's a big tree with a fucking a pink concrete circle around it. Then you want to turn right there. Just all that sort of shit, right? And all my first few bosses used to say it, and I was like, I'm just going to say yes, pull up down the street, pull out the Refidex, and find my own way around, because fuck me, do I know what you just said. Anyway, he gives me a list of instructions, and then he goes, oh, do you know where the Porsche Center is in the valley? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know where that is. And he's like, yeah, well, it's just across the Bunnings is just across the road from that. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And then to finish the conversation off with a bit of friendly banter, cap it off with a bit of a laugh, just like I like to do. I looked at him and I go, oh, might pop over to Porsche while I'm there and do a bit of window shopping. And I've looked at him with a smile on my face, waiting for his humble chuckle, like Santa Claus, just a And as I've looked at him with a big smile on my face, thinking that I've just dropped the biggest fucking zinger in history, he's just looked at me and gone, yeah, so that's where Bunnings is. And I've gone, fuck me, right? But maybe he took offense because he is cruising around in a brand new Porsche. Maybe he thought a humble cabinet maker cannot drive in a Porsche, but we'll see. One day we'll get a Porsche and I'll just drive it past there and go, don't have a fucking flat battery in this one, do I? That's never going to happen. But anywho, you can dream. We can all dream, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I don't know if you can still hear it in my voice, but I'm still a little bit under the weather. At least I do have a voice now. There was a touch and go period there where it completely fucked out. But yeah, something about there's the perfect mixture, right, for itchy as fucking nose for anyone watching. There's a perfect mixture, right, for sickness and illness, and it digs deep in your soul and goes, hey, just wondering, do you guys have any depression laying around here? Because I'd love to scoop up that pile of depression that you've just been working so hard to push over in the corner the last couple of months. And I'd just love to, almost like dropping a Mentos in a Coke bottle, I'd just love to bring all that to the surface. And while you're feeling completely shit laid up on the couch, just going to make you feel even more shit. So yeah, we had a bit of a, what do you want to call it? Like a depression relapse or something. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday's where it peaked. That was pretty much a doona day for me. That could be the episode title, Doona Day. But yeah, I pretty much like Thursday, Friday, I was back to tossing around the idea of never doing stand-up again, never doing podcasting again. And that's all stemmed from just fucking, obviously I think I even spoke about it last week, how like I do a lot of this podcasting shit during the day, like recording right now. If I'd still had my day job, I'd be at work right now. I wouldn't be able to do this until like 9 o'clock tonight when the kids went to bed. So because of all that, and like obviously there's a multitude of reasons, but yeah, it makes it there's no one to blame other than myself. So I don't want anyone to fucking write in and be like, oh, you are so brave, James. You're so strong. Literally just coming on here and voicing my thoughts like I do every other week. But yeah, it's sort of the cabinet making work dried up a little bit, right? And that was because I had this big job. So I knew I had enough income from that job to get me through a few months. Like that's sort of how big the job was, right? So I was like, oh, I can just quote sort of a job or two a week while I'm doing this one. If any of them pay off, then whatever. But if not, it's not a biggie. And obviously now this job's coming to an end and I've gone, oh, fuck. I need to line up some more work now. Otherwise, my wife and kids are going to be living in the bush behind us with the homeless people that are nice enough to be back there now. Oh, can't catch a break. But can't get any worse. That's what I should have fucking said. Then I could have clipped it, I could have fucking sent it to sponsors. Anyone want to sponsor the show, right in. Ugh. But yeah, that's basically where that all came from. Got to Thursday, Friday, and I was like, fuck, what am I going to do next week when this job's done? I've got another sort of like 2 baby jobs that, like, I guess, oh shit, who's home? Someone's home. Nikita's home, I think. So yeah, that's where that's at. And it was just so much pressure, I guess, to keep that income coming in and all that sort of shit. But yeah, one second. I will be back in one momento. All right, I'm back. Cut that. Clip that. That could be the clip. That would probably get more traction than most of our clips if I just clipped me sitting in a chair without me sitting in a chair. We had another lovely YouTube comment this week from a lovely, was it YouTube or TikTok? But it was that one that I put on about when I tapped Nikita's face and she started crying, and some bitch on TikTok had to get on her pedestal and be like, are we just going to gloss past the fact that this man would hit his dog hard enough that it made his wife cry? And I was like, do you not have fucking anything else to do with your day other than sit there scrolling TikTok just looking for something to fucking whinge about? Like, she would have had to have watched the entire video to get to that punchline and be like, oh, this is fucking disgusting. Like, she didn't even pick up Bill Cosby. That's who she should be worried about, not me tapping my dog when it licks my ears. But yeah, that's where that got to with the whole fucking the mentee bee. But I don't think that there's any other choice now than to go fucking 150% into this shit, because I started looking at like jobs and stuff like that, and I was like, I think I mentioned it, the last old mentee bee that I had, like going into like real estate or something like that. I started looking at real estate jobs and I was like, that's not me. Like, I don't think I can fucking do that. And then I started looking at support work, because I know there's a whole bunch of people in the comedy community and stuff that do support work. And they just say like the flexibility is so good. Like, it's fun hanging out with people and stuff like that. Like, you just go to the movies, go to Dreamworld. Obviously there's fucking like bad parts to the job. Like, that's the whole point of it. But yeah, then I started looking into that and I was like, I don't think I'm the kind of guy that can do that either. So then I like started looking at cabinet making jobs again, and I was like, that's fucking dumb. Like, I'm in this annoying hole, right, where a big reason why I fucked up this big job is because of the whole reason I like stopped the business last time, is because I like outgrew my little workshop that I have at mum and dad's place. Like, I need my own machinery. I need my own fucking trucks, all that sort of shit. But I just do not have the want or desire to invest any money into this fucking business that I don't want to do at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with all that. So we should probably skip over that, eh? I reckon I've touched on that a little bit now. I don't need to bring all you guys down. If you guys are struggling with any mental health issues or anything like that, reach out to whoever you reach out to, like Beyond Blue, or who are some other ones? What's the one on the podcast one? Better Health or Better Help? One of them. I don't fucking know. Ugh. Let's this next one goes into comedy a little bit, right? So we'll do this next thing that I've got to talk about, and then we'll go straight into my week in comedy. Or should we link it? I'll start talking. Wherever it ends up, that's where it fucking ends up. So buckle in, ladies and gentlemen. I had a gig up at Maroochydore on Tuesday, up at Soul Bar. And I think I said it last week as well. Like, it's always a fucking good gig, right? And made the drive up there. And as I was driving up there, I don't know why I do this now. I think it's literally because I'm so sick and tired of my regular set, like comedy set. So I was driving up there, and that day I'd literally been working on like this stupid little show that I'm writing. And the first joke in that show, it's fucking, I don't know if it's too risque or whatever, but I drop the word retarded. And I even do a little act out. Like, it's not over the top or anything. It's just, I don't know. I thought it was funny when I was writing it, right? So I'm driving up to the sunny coast. This joke's fresh in my head. And I'm like, I should just try the first part of that joke. Like, halfway through that joke, there's like a punchline in the middle of the joke. And then I tell the other half of the joke. There's obviously a second punchline with laughs throughout, obviously, if we all know about fucking joke writing. So I was like, to make the drive worth it, I should just throw it in and see how it goes. Like I said, it's always a good room. What could be the fucking worst that happens, right? So I get up there and I'll tell this story and then I'll get back to why I decided to do that. But the whole drive up there, I was like, I was stressing about it, right? Because I've never said retarded on stage before. It seems to be a big no word in the scene, up with the words like gay and fucking whatever, all the words that were funny as fuck when I was growing up, right? So I'm nervous as fuck. And I get to the gig and they go, you're on second. And I'm like, second's too early to be dropping retarded. But we've come this far. We're just going to have to do it. How am I ever going to know it's going to work unless I try it in a room, right? And MC gets on, not having too much luck with the room, right? It's probably one of the quietest I've seen the rooms ever, to be honest. First act jumps on, who's normally a killer, whether or not they have been on the podcast before or not, up to your discretion. They got up and they were getting some like steady laughs and things like that, but nowhere near like as hard as I've seen them crush before. And all their gear was sort of, they didn't do anything new that night. So I was like, this is all good gear. Why are these people not laughing? And then that made me stress the fuck out that they were going to like get pitchforks and torches and shit and come at me. Oh, the voice is going again. This could have been a bad move. Anyway, my time to shine, right? And I don't know why I did this, but I decided to finish on the new joke just because I was like, if the punchline's going to work, it's going to fucking work, or I'm going off to absolute silence. So I've got up there and I've done 3 of my regular jokes that I know normally fucking work, right? And the first joke I started with was the toilet paper joke that we've been talking about a fair bit on the podcast. And those first 3 jokes landed relatively flat. A couple of little chuckles, like much like the first act got, right? No huge laughs. And I was like, fuck, this is probably like the quietest I've seen this room. And I know what I have in my back pocket that I have to whip out. Like, there was a moment on halfway through my set that I was like, nah, just finish on one of the classics. And I was like, just fucking do it. And I fucking just did it. And biggest laugh of my set. I was so relieved that like they were so into it. And when I did my little hand movement, fucking they pissed their pants laughing, and then I dropped it at the end. And yeah, I don't want to say it was one of the biggest laughs that I heard before I left there, but the crowd fucking loved it. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. That could have ended so badly. Which made me feel good about what I have been writing for this shit as well. And I had a glimmer that it might have been funny because Nikita came in the office while I was writing the other night, and I read it out to her and she laughed, and I was like, oh, could be fucking funny. But yeah, so that's where that's at. And before I get onto the big story for that night, I know what you're thinking, but James, that was a huge milestone, dropping a no word on stage. But yeah, dropping a no word on stage, that could be an episode title as well. Who fucking knows? I don't remember if it was on the podcast or it might have even just been like a private conversation. I'm pretty sure it was with Adrian and someone. Might have been Adrian and Matt, Adrian and Ash, but Adrian was definitely there. And it was during another one of my mentee B's, mental breakdowns. And I was going through one of those phases where I was like, oh, I'm not fucking funny, blah, blah, blah. And then either him or whoever we were with was like, well, why did you think you're funny? Like, why did you want to do comedy? And I was like, well, I just always made like people laugh. And obviously they've worked with me for like however long. And they're like, yeah, obviously we watch you fuck around all day, every day at work. Like that was my sole purpose at work, just to bring laughter, right? And then they were like, well, why do you think you can be so funny at work but not on stage? And I was like, well, there's no way in hell I would say what I say at work on stage, not necessarily in front of the crowd, because I'm never going to see them again. My biggest fear was always what the rest of the scene is going to think, right? Because when I first started, I had a couple of jokes that were, like, in hindsight, not even, like, funny at all, right? I'd just seen some of the best comedians in the world tiptoe that line and push some boundaries that they maybe shouldn't have, much like the gay and retard gear, right, that I'm writing now. But I don't even, like, if I looked back through my notepad, I could come up with an example. But and when I was saying some of that stuff, like, obviously I was still nervous to be on stage and all that. I could almost feel like the back of the room tensing up a little bit. And in some of the bigger rooms, you'd be talking to people before your set, and then after your set, you'd go and try and talk to them again, and it'd be like they'd be a little bit standoffish or something, as if you've just fucking dropped an N-bomb on stage. But now, and it could even be down to the fact that over these last like 3 years or whatever, my like writing or what do you want to call it? Like conveying, like when you deliver a joke has gotten slightly better. And maybe it's like less jarring the way that I'm saying things now. But yeah, to then to like write a joke where I say that word, and not only the crowd pissing their pants, but 5 or 6 comedians watching the set came up to me after and said that last joke was fucking killer. I was like, holy shit, like it's crazy. Like, I don't know if we are hitting that swing that I spoke about last week of like public now getting over that whole cancel culture or what the go is, but felt pretty good. But here's the fucking kicker for the night, right? I got off stage and feeling good, feeling like I got off scot-free, right? Oh, and friend, actually no, he's not friend of the show because he still hasn't fucking come on. He's the only member of the Bomb Squad, our little fucking group chat, that hasn't been on the podcast, but he'll get here eventually. Max Leishman. He's some of his material's a bit rogue if you've seen him before, and he'll be the first to fucking tell you that. But he come up to me before the gig and he goes, oh, I'm going to run some new gear tonight. And I was like, me too. Let's fucking bomb together. So he was on like, I don't know, 6th or something. So I was like, I'll stick around, watch you, and then I'll shoot off for my long journey back to Brisbane. And fuck, I'm glad I did. Oh, Jesus. He gets up. He gets like his first couple of jokes in, and they're getting some pretty big laughs as well. It seemed the crowd was there for some no words, but he gets maybe halfway through his set, right, and he drops this joke, and it's not even a bad joke, right? And I'm not going to blow what the joke is on here. That's fucking his material and things like that. But it's tiptoeing the line, I guess. If there was a line and you had to, but in saying that, he didn't say anything bad. He just like was insinuating things like that and making observations and what's the word where you like make assumptions or something? I don't fucking remember. Anyway, this lady, he finishes the joke. It gets a fucking decent laugh, and this lady up the back just stands up and she goes, "That's not fucking funny." And he's gone to keep going, and then he's like, oh, I've got to address it. Hats off to him. He fucking handled this as best as I've almost ever seen anyone handle a heckler, which is good for someone to be so new into comedy. You're like, I don't know if he's been doing it the same amount as me or maybe less. I don't fucking know. Holy shit. Can you guys hear that rain? 1 sec. I'm just going to see if that's coming through the roadcaster. Doesn't seem to be. I'm sorry if that rain's coming through, but to be honest, I'm probably going to call it pretty soon because my voice is fucked out and the rain is heavy. But he goes, what did you say? And she goes, that wasn't funny. And he goes, oh, why wasn't it funny? And she goes, oh, you're sexist against women or something like that. He's like, if you think you can do better, you come and do a minute. And she fucking hats off to her, I guess. She walked up to the stage. But by the time she got to the stage, everyone realised she was fucking wrecked. She was not with it. Anyway, this led to maybe a 2 to 3 minute back and forth of Max, the MC, this crazy lady. The venue manager ended up coming on stage, and Max is still handling it with her, and then he's talking to the crowd, like trying to bring them into it as well, trying to like play it off, I guess. And this chick, they finally got her off stage. Max tries to start his set again, and she pipes up again, and she's like, what'd she say? She got up and said something crazy like, oh, fucking so sorry, I've got testosterone flying through my body or something like that. And obviously Max again has to address it, and he's like, well, that's menopause for you, everyone. And everyone laughs again. And then she fucking loses it again. Max's set went for like 15 minutes just going back and forth with this lady and shit. They end up hugging, and then she wants to come back on stage. It was fucking mental. It was insane. But then the crazy thing is, a couple days later, we all got an email saying an undisclosed person had written a formal complaint about someone's joke being sexist or like not being right or something. But hey, I wasn't sexist. I just said a no word. That's right, everyone. Say it with me. A no word. All right. A couple of things to touch on quickly before we wrap the episode. This is the only fucking thing in the news this week that I will touch on, right? And it's the only thing from the Olympics that I'll touch on that I haven't watched 1 second of this year. And I said that to someone, when was it? On Saturday. And the look they gave me was as if I just fucking walked into church and said a no word in church. I'm not going to say it on the podcast. I've got family members that listen that have raised a good whatever religion we are. I don't even know. That is pretty bad. But anyway, I said that to them. And they're like, oh my God, like you've got to watch the Olympics. And I'm like, oh, I just fucking couldn't get into it. I saw all the shit about the opening ceremony, then the shit about the boxer, then the fucking pole vaulter that knocked the fucking thing off with his dick. And I'm like, there's just nothing that could really get me into it. Like I was half invested in the BMX because Logan Martin was in it. Local boy done good. But he bowed out pretty early in the whole contest. So I didn't really get into it. The basketball, again, could have hooked me at some stage, but I've just been watching the highlights and I'm like, that's all I need to see. Just LeBron and Steph Curry going crazy every couple of minutes, shooting threes from way out. But the one that I was like, nah, I need to break my Olympic silence, and everyone knows what the fuck it's going to be. The Australian representative for the breakdancing. So it's the first year that breakdancing's been in the Olympics, and some of the stuff that I saw on Instagram and stuff seemed pretty cool. It's what I would put down to seeing breakdancing, right? If I was to buy a ticket to go and watch breakdancing, what these people are doing is probably what I would expect to see, right? But then in comes, I think she's like 36-year-old Raygun, the woman Australian representative, who it was like watching someone perform their grade 10 drama fucking performance or something. I don't know what she was doing. She was pretending to be a kangaroo, a fucking snake, a wombat, some sort of fucking clam thing she was doing on the ground. It was one of the most insane things I've ever seen, right? Like, I said this to Adrian and Ash the other day. If that is the best breakdancer we have to offer, there is major issues. Like, I could find a better dancer literally in the space of 10 minutes. TikTok, go on TikTok. There is not like 60% of the platform is just people doing stupid little dances. You could have sent one of them to the Olympics. You could go down to Hollywood showgirls down the coast and be like, hey, do any of you guys want to get off the pole for 10 minutes, fly to Paris, win us a bronze medal, surely would be happy with a bronze because I don't know if we came last. I'm assuming we came last in that. If there's anyone in the world that would be stoked about Raygun's performance, it's probably the person who did actually come last, if there was a last place. But yeah, I found it insane, and I heard rumors that it was because she was the only one who signed up, and that doesn't sound right. Like, I would imagine, right, if I was doing breakdancing and it was the first time I was going to be in the Olympics, I'd be putting my hand up. I'd be like, yeah, let's give this a fucking crack. That would be so sick. And I highly doubt that 0 women in Australia put their hands up to go, yeah, I'll give this thing a crack. And then just this one, it looks like she's just a mum that we got out of the grandstands at the Olympics and went, hey, our Olympic breakdancer's called in sick. Can you just go and like pull out some moves that you'd pull at a traditional Australian wedding? And she's like, I've been waiting my whole life for this. But yeah, it was pretty fucking insane. And just, I think we mentioned this in the early days of the podcast, right? If she was the only one that signed up, you're still allowed to say no. Like, there is a story in my childhood, still haunts me to this day, right? I played rugby league outside of school, right? And I went to a private school, so it was rugby union during school hours. And I, like, at rugby league club level, a couple of people that I was playing with were making rep teams, things like that. And I was like, fuck, I never get picked for a rep team. Not thinking it's because I'm fucking absolutely dog shit at football. I was like, these cunts are fucking, they're using no words towards me. They're calling me a no word behind closed doors. So I did a bit of digging on the interweb and I saw that you can be made eligible by your school to make a rep team, even if your school does not play that sport. So I reached out to the head of sport at my school and I go, hey, I want to try and make the rugby league rep team, like South Coast or whatever it was. Can you arrange for the scout or whatever to come and watch me? And I think there was 2 other kids at the school that were interested as well, right? But they weren't in my grade. They would have been like either above or below me. They weren't in the same team, right? So the scout was like, okay, if the 3 of you do the same day, then I'll come and watch. And we went and played and I was the only one in my fucking year level. So I was like, I've made this. I'm going to make a rep team. Fuck you, club level. I'll see you guys at the rep team. But we got to the end of the training and they gave me the old, we'll call you. You don't call us. And they just got their ball and left. And I did not make the rep team. So there is a way that someone can say no to you. And someone should have said no to Raygun, which that was another rant that I saw, much better than the one I went on to. If anyone knows Simon Beard, he's basically the dude that invented Culture Kings, which is a big like streetwear label, originated down the coast, blah, blah, blah. If you know him, you know him. Anyway, now he spends a lot of his time just on Instagram and stuff giving advice to entrepreneurs and like business owners and stuff of how to keep up with current trends and all this. And he just went on a big rant saying that this is what, like the whole Raygun situation, this is what happens when someone goes for all these qualifications and doesn't get any real world experience, because now on the back end, everyone's looking into her and she's got a university degree for breakdancing or some shit. So she's somehow gone and got a degree in this, but she can't fucking do it. And then he broke it down into like a business level, saying that like this poor lady would have gone and possibly rehearsed this in front of friends and family, and they would have gone, yeah, that's perfect. Go to the Olympics and do that on the world stage. But nobody stopped her. Nobody stood in and went, you're going to look like a fucking idiot. So yeah, go watch his breakdown. It's much better than what I just explained, but it's insane. I don't know how the fuck she made it to the Olympics, but much like Jake Paul announcing that he's going to the 2028 Olympics for boxing in LA, you've heard it here first. 2028 breakdancing gold medalist sitting right here. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to fucking go there. I'm going to take Raygun's place. I'm only going to compete against women because that's where the Olympics are going these days. I'm going to put a wig on And I'll be Jemima Misson, the 2028 breakdancing champion. But anyway, let's go into. I've watched a couple of things this week. Let's start with the apology. I'd like to forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And of course, I'm talking about Father Rogan and his comedy special that I spoke about last week. I came in here. I don't think I trashed it too bad, did I? I think I was relatively just tiptoeing around it. I did say that I didn't like it. I said it was strong at the start and finish, a little bit weak in the middle. I got a fair few messages. Oh, fuck. I didn't realize this would be controversial, but I got a fair few messages from people in the comedy community and people not in the comedy community that were like, why the fuck did you hate it so much? Where you thought it was hilarious. So I think it was like Wednesday last week. I went back, I put it on, and much better the second time around. Maybe I was in a bad mood. Maybe I was putting him on such a high pedestal that I was like, these jokes need to be the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. But just sitting back watching it as a regular comedy special, it's funny as fuck. Like those jokes, and even in saying some of those no words, that special was littered with them. Like a lot of stuff that you shouldn't say. Well, no, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't say. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want in reality, within reason. Don't come at me for that. But I feel a bit bad for trashing it last week. It's a fucking good special. So if you took my advice last week and didn't watch it, go watch it now and keep it. Last I checked, it was like number 1 on Netflix. Probably still is. Probably be there for a couple of weeks. Anyway, let's talk about the last thing I watched, right? Obviously, we all know, giant fucking Marvel movie has hit the cinemas. And there's obviously a huge influx of people wanting to go and watch it and things like that. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go. Nikita and I wanted to go and watch it, right? And we just haven't found the time. And then yesterday we were like, fuck it, let's watch a Marvel movie, right? We're going to watch one of the biggest Marvel movies that have come out in the last few years. And I don't even want to say it. I'm so excited about it. Nikita and I watched Madam Web. That's right. I thought you guys probably thought I was going to say Deadpool and Wolverine, which I would give my fucking left nut to go and watch that movie because Deadpool is probably the only superhero I ever got into when he started bringing those movies out. Like Spider-Man and Hulk and all that, they're okay, but they're just like, I feel like the movies are just so overdone, whereas Deadpool is just a smart-ass cunt who doesn't give a fuck. I like how he like breaks that fourth wall and he just fucks with like the people watching, things like that. So no, I have not gone and seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet. Nikita and I couldn't get away from the kids and we watched Madam Web instead, which was not my choice. I don't know why the fuck we watched Madam Web. I heard reports that it was one of the worst Marvel movies ever brought out. Look, it wasn't as bad as I prepared myself for. In saying that, though, it was absolute dog shit, but it was not as bad as I prepared myself for. It was pretty fucking lame. I don't know what else to say about it other than I wish I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine instead of that absolute dog shit of a movie because I don't even know, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say Marvel's really like fallen off the last few years and now Deadpool's re-saved it again. Because I haven't even seen the last couple of Avengers movies or anything like that. But I have seen Madam Web, so you're welcome. Premature premise this week. It's getting tricky to bring this segment to the table just because obviously a lot of my writing at the moment is going into this show that I'm writing, right? And I don't want to blow any of that stuff on the podcast. Otherwise, if you guys come and watch me, you'll be like, we fucking heard this. What else you got? So no premature premise this week. 100% I'll have one next week, right? I do have a couple of ideas bubbling away that won't fit in the show. So I'll bring one of them to the table next week. Oh, I'm dying. Let's get on to motivational clip. This is just a fun little happy one for us. So let me bring it across here. One sec. Oh, fuck, what happened there? Where is it? Oh, this is awkward. All right, there we go. I saw this one the other day and I was like, fuck, this shouldn't even be motivational, but the mood that I was in, this just fucking hit hard. Ready?
Get you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you got to do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
Bad things happen, and you can't do anything about it, right?
Right.
Wrong!
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now.
When the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it.
There we go. Little montage from Disney, but it's weird how like the old Disney movies that I grew up on can have those little like hidden lines and shit like that. Like the amount of uplifting and motivational shit in The Lion King, it's insane. But like Dory said, everyone, if you're having a shitty week, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. I understand my energy level probably hasn't been there again this week. I apologise. The rain is bucketing down. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But I guarantee, if you guys come back again next week, it'll be the most exciting, happy, uplifting episode you guys have ever fucking heard. So let's quickly scroll down. Oh, fuck, I didn't finish putting my dates in. 1 second again. All right. Wednesday the 14th, I'll be at the Ark at Nobby's Beach. I will be running 90% new gear down there. So if you want to watch me bomb, that's the place to go. Friday the 16th, I'm going to be at Runcorn Tavern. Never done that. Never done that gig before, so don't know what to expect. I'm going to go with, say, 30 to 40% new gear there. Then the big one, Sunday the 18th, Distillery Road Market. Last I checked, I think I said it last week, tickets are sort of exhausted or all allocated, whatever you want to say. Contact the venue, tell them you're interested to come. They will issue you a ticket. Show up. Just show up and I will find you a seat. Like I said, having a crack at emceeing that one. Nick Carr is headlining, absolute fucking killer. And we've got 3 feature acts as well that are fucking hilarious as well. Who we got on there? We got Lloyd Bendel. Fuck, where's my list? Now, I shouldn't have fucking started rattling off these people. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Why did I do this? I'm trying to find the group chat now. Should have just finished it when I could, shouldn't I? All right. We've got Lloyd Bendel, Ian Dowling, and Kyle Wisniewski, I think it said. But all of those guys are fucking hilarious. But yeah, come alone for Nick Carr because the dude is a fucking killer, and come alone to watch me bomb as an MC again. But if I don't see you guys at Distillery Road, I'll see you next week for a fun and uplifting episode. Thanks for listening. Share the podcast around, and I'll see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's always